Hey everybody, welcome to IGN GameSpy's Livewire, coming to you from E3. We're live here in Santa Monica. The show keeps rolling along, we're rolling along with it. We've got a full schedule of interviews for you today, and so stay tuned, keep it right here. And you can actually log on to the chat room and throw some questions at us. Spiff, how do they do that?
They just go to insider.ign.com and click on the Insider Chat button, or if they're watching at livewire.ign.com, there'll be a big Insider Chat button down at the bottom of the screen. Click on that, it'll log you right in. Start asking some questions. I'm hanging out in the chat room, taking the questions and passing them to our guests today.
Right, and make sure you comment on Spiff's awesome shirt, green striped shirt. That's kind of cool.
I picked it out just for you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. First up, though, sorry, we don't want to ignore you any longer. First up, we've got from Crytek, senior game designer Bernd Diemar. Is that how you say it?
That's right.
All right, it's good. My German's getting better.
It's excellent.
Thank you. We're going to talk about Crysis, which it's a game a lot of people are excited about. The graphics are amazing. We've been seeing it for the last year or so in trailers here and there. Tell us what sets this shooter apart in your mind.
From the graphics, I think our graphics are among the best on the planet, to be honest. We're very proud of doing, advances in almost all areas, like lighting techniques, shading, everything. We got the most advanced stuff in the engine to support amazing graphics. But when we thought about going to E3, we decided, that of course it has to look pretty. We're Crytek,
sure.
And but we decided to bring a lot of gameplay along, because we decided that here at E3 it's the first time we let people get their actual hands on a real level. So we took one of the levels of the game, chopped off a bit at the beginning, a bit at the end, and put it on a machine, and we just let people play after giving them a brief introduction about the controls, and then we let them play it. And it's an open sandbox, and people are having incredible amount of fun. And the hardest thing is getting them off the machines.
Gotcha.
Actually.
So the best graphics on the planet. That's impressive. But how does that factor into gameplay? I mean, so things look amazing, they look beautiful and everything. But how do you take advantage of that in terms of playing the game?
The more real it looks, the more real it feels when you play it. It's stuff like the little details, that you have small animals walking around on the ground, you have leaves in the air, you have dust and particles when you move around, when somebody shoots at something. You get these dust clouds and particles. You got in the ocean, you got plankton floating around and things like that. And it all really helps. It's the little stuff it's hard to put your finger on when you're watching it, but when you're moving through the world, it makes it feel more real.
Because I know one of the things a lot of people do, I do this, I'm sure you do, is like when you first fire up a game that looks really nice, you start shooting at things to see how far does it go? Like, what if I shoot this branch, if I shoot this twig, if I shoot this rodent, if I shoot his tail off, like what's going to happen? And so once you're done with that, though, you kind of don't pay attention to that stuff. So I was just wondering, like, is there a way to take advantage of that in gameplay? Like,
the biggest advantage for the gameplay is the physics system.
okay.
So you can interact with almost anything in the world. You can pick up things, you can throw them, you can break them, you can destroy pretty much everything you can see, which looks destroyable. You can, pick objects and hit the enemies over the head with it. You can grab the enemies, which was one of the hardest things to get right. Character interaction in a game. And that's sort of like the holy grail nowadays. Graphics, it's easy to make games look great. There's a lot of great games out there on the market which looks absolutely stunning.
Sure.
And but it's the interaction that you feel yourself, you're in the world, you're able to touch things, they react as you would expect them to react from your normal life. Although we take it a bit over the top in sort of like a Hollywood way.
Okay.
So things blow up a bit more spectacularly than they would in real life.
Gotcha. Your strength or focus is the multiplayer elements. Talk a little bit about that. What are you trying to do with the multiplayer game?
That's not really my focus. I'm working on a single-player campaign almost exclusively. I'll happily try to answer questions, but my focus isn't on multiplayer. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. We'll talk about it anyways.
Yeah.
What's the aim for the multiplayer component of
we want to deliver multiplayer which allows 32 players to engage in a deathmatch variant we call Instant Action. And we bring a new mode to the table, which is called Power Struggle, which is a team-based multiplayer with an economic system. So you actually have to buy stuff. You gain prestige by performing actions or killing enemies, and that allows you to buy better equipment and vehicles.
Team-based, like you're going to have different classes, different responsibilities?
It's not a class system. You can define your class as you buy stuff. It's not that we have predefined classes like medics or engineers. It depends on what you buy. So you can buy a repair kit, in addition to your weapons, that sort of makes you into an engineer, but it's not that you're predefined. You can change that during the game or during the round.
Okay, so you're never going to be sort of like at a disadvantage because you're a certain class or anything. Everyone's going to be combat effective, more or less.
Yes, yes. And the thing is, the important thing in the multiplayer is that you can change the role while you're playing. So if there's nothing for the engineer to do, like nothing to repair, you can just buy a rocket launcher and join the fight until your services are needed again.
This is before a round, or just in the middle of the game?
It's during the rounds. We have buy zones in the game. Okay. So during play, you can you can capture a factory, and that allows you to buy equipment and weapons. So it's not at the beginning of each round, so it's during the game.
So a factory, that'd be like a control point, maybe, something like that? Or
you have to capture certain spots on the map, and that allows you to build stuff like vehicles. You have to capture a vehicle factory. That allows you to build vehicles. Or a weapons factory, and then you can buy, or the rest of your team, you can buy weapons. So it's more like a team effort. So you go through the game. First thing is to capture additional spawn points, so you get closer to the action. Then you go on and capture a weapons factory for heavy weapons, so everybody can get rocket launchers and advanced infantry weapons. And then maybe the other guys manage to capture a vehicle factory, so vehicles start coming into play, and that means you have to change your tactics and adapt a bit. So if you got tanks coming up, you have to change your weapon set and your skill set as well. So that's why we didn't want a predefined class system, but only that you can change it on the fly while playing.
So if it's one team versus another team, is there only one weapons factory? Or does each team have access to everything?
That depends on the map. There are some maps where you have multiple instances of everything, and the smaller ones may just have one factory, so where the combat is focused. It depends on the map.
Can you explain us how the prestige system works?
You gain prestige for basically all the actions in the game, which is, of course, eliminating enemies. You get prestige points for capturing factories, for assisting kills, for providing cooperative action. Because something we wanted to push with the multiplayer is that we want to reward people for working as a team. So you get points, for example, if you build a vehicle and you pick up your teammates and transport them to another factory, you get prestige points for that.
So you can actually put yourself in the role of like a support character, and you'll get credit for that, even though you're not necessarily attacking the enemy.
Yes. So it's not only the guy who actually does the capture in the factory. Right. It's all the other guys around who are in a certain radius. So they get assist prestige for defending the factory while one guy is holding the capture spot.
Okay. Now, what do you do at those points that you earn? Is it just
buy stuff?
That's how you buy.
Yes. So
gear
that's the economy we have. So the prestige points, you use them to buy things in the factories, like weapons and vehicles.
So then as you go round after round while you're playing, you actually have more points to spend on more cool stuff? Is that how it works?
Yes. We also have, like, in every round, you get advanced in rank, depending on how well you do. So you start as a private, and you can advance up to, I think, general, I'm not sure. And you get, the higher your rank is, the more points you get when you respawn. So every time you die, you get a certain allotment of prestige points, so you can get back into the action. So you're not, sitting around with 0 points while everybody else is driving tanks.
Right.
And the higher your rank is, the easier it is for you to get back into the game.
Okay, so coming into a round, like you and I fire up a game, are we going to have no points at all, no prestige points at all? Or
no, you get enough points to buy your basic equipment.
Buy a couple of
things. It's not that you're running around with your fists.
Right, okay. Yeah. So then as we go along, though, we'll earn points that you can spend while the game's going on.
Yes.
I would imagine the factories and places like that will become pretty hotly contested because they'll be people there trying to do stuff.
They're like the focus points of the map. And the thing we wanted to have is that it's objective-based. That means the objective changes during the game. So the first thing is capture spawn points.
Okay.
So especially for beginners, we want to have this objective system, so everybody knows what's going on. So they get an objective in the world which tells them, go there, perform this and this action. If that is completed, you get the next pseudo-objective, which means capture the factory, and so on. So advanced players, they probably know the map really well and they know exactly what to do.
Gotcha.
So they run ahead and do the things they always do. But the beginning players, like me, I'm a pretty lousy player. I need the extra help to tell me, where do I have to go when I start the round. So I'm not left out because we didn't want this delta between the beginners and the experts to become too big. So you have a chance by buying, for example, the rocket launcher, which isn't that expensive. You can, if you're lucky or if you're good, you can take out the guy in the tank, which sort of balances the gameplay that you're not, for all purposes out of the game and you're dominated by the guys who have the vehicles first.
How is it that you're not very good at the game? I'm curious. You're helping create it.
My focus is single player, and there I'm pretty good at. Multiplayer, it's too advanced. Our QA team is murderous. They know the maps inside out. You stick your head around the corner and you're usually dead if you don't know exactly what you're doing.
You're just inexperienced then, that's all.
Yes.
It's not uncommon. A lot of people who make the games aren't very good at the games they make. So I was wondering, I imagine you can breeze through the single player mode with your eyes closed.
Yeah, I can. I know almost every nook and cranny of levels like this here. So I know exactly, there's a guy coming
I
out.
did want to jump in and say we've got some video running that people have been taking a look at, and I think this is the weapons walkthrough that was just released on the 6th. That people can go download from IGN and File Planet. You want to walk us through some of what we're looking at here, Fern?
Yeah, sure. This is
Always
the
a favorite.
sniper rifle, one of my favorites. It's very powerful. It's a bolt action, which means it has a pretty long reload time, but it's very effective. If you manage to hit your target up to 300 meters, it's almost an instant kill. And that's one of the more fun weapons. That's actually my favorite at the moment playing the game. Is what we call a tactical shotgun. It has a lot of punch, and it's really great fun, getting close to the guys and taking them out with a nice shotgun blast. And this is the C4, which you can stick to pretty much everything. So I'll leave it up to your imagination what you can do with it. Our guided rocket launcher, it has 2 modes. One is the follow the mouse guidance.
See, that's what I need, is the ability to just fire rockets aimlessly and have them hit whatever I want.
So that's sort of like you can do nice combo shots. And the second mode with the scope is that you can lock on target. So you hold it over a target and then it locks and the missile is auto-guided and hits the target.
That looks like the best weapon in the game, that rocket launcher. Like, why would you need anything else?
It doesn't have that much ammunition, so you have to be a bit careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that looked exciting. So you can explain how the follow the mouse mode works.
It's really easy. You shoot it, and the rocket just follows your crosshair. So wherever you look, the rocket tries to get there as fast as it can.
Okay.
So it allows you to guide not only one rocket but multiple rockets into targets, which is great fun. Blowing up a convoy, like firing 3 rockets into the air, and then have them bam, 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 hit a convoy. Very satisfactory.
That's creative. I thought you don't have to change the view perspective, because that was just for demonstration purposes. It looked like you had to change the angle, like look up and then look down.
No, you don't have to. But it's much more fun that way.
Okay.
Sudden death from above.
And then the scope allows you to lock on to targets.
Yeah. So then basically it turns into fire and forget. So you can lock something, fire the rocket, and then turn around and shoot the guy who is creeping up to you, and the rocket will hit the target nonetheless.
Okay. How many rounds do you get in a weapon like that?
Basic loadout is 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. And I imagine reloading new ammo's got to be scarce or something like that.
It's a disposable weapon, so you shoot it and then it's empty and you dispose of it. It's like a disposable tube, so there's no reloads. If you want another one, you have to buy a new one in multiplayer, or in single player, you have to find another one.
Find the stash. Okay. So which one is your favorite? We didn't get to see all of them, but tell us which one's your favorite.
At the moment, it's the shotgun, because it has so much power, and we tweeted that these flimsy huts we have, that you can even take down a wall with it.
Right.
So if you need a door, you just make one with the shotgun instead of using the nanosuit strength punch, which is at the moment my favorite. But that changes a lot.
Now, will enemies on the other side, if you shoot through a wall, or will they be affected?
Yeah, sure. Do you mean bullet pierceability? We don't have that.
Okay.
We don't have that.
So yeah, this bad guy sitting on this side of the wall. Using it through the wall with a
If he
shotgun.
gets hit by the wall, he's dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I want to go back a little bit more about the multiplayer and how you basically are rewarded, it seems like, for being quick to the objectives. Is that basically what it is?
I wouldn't say quick. I would say the more tactical you go. You can run through the first weapon factory from the spawn point, but it might be better to go a little to the offside and capture a spawn bunker, which is closer to the factory, because then it allows your whole team to be there much faster.
Okay,
that's the thing we want to balance. So the advanced guys, they rush to their preferred spot,
yes.
But the other guys, they can capture a spawn bunker and they're closer to the action, which gives them a pretty good chance of being actually good at the game. We want it to be that you do have fun. Even if you're a complete beginner, you jump into the game for the first time, you should have fun. And that's something we're working really hard to get that right.
Right, yeah, that's tough to balance, because people start playing these shooters competitively.
Yes.
It's like they know their favorite spots, and it becomes a battle for that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so...
We do actually have a couple questions from the chat room and from our email form, if you wouldn't mind answering a couple of those.
Fire away.
A lot of people are wondering, you may or may not be able to speculate on this, whether or not Crysis is going to be coming to any of the consoles at all, or if this is just going to be a PC-only release for now.
The Crysis team is completely focused on the PC. We're not even thinking about something else at this point.
Okay, got it. And then there's also been a lot of concerns. I mean, obviously this is a gorgeous game, and there's been a lot of news about the DirectX 10 compatibility and the video and things like that. But people out there, a lot of people are still running DirectX 9 machines if they're lucky. How is this game going to look and perform on some of those lower spec machines? And what are you guys kind of doing to make sure that the Crysis experience is still really robust for them?
We're doing our best to optimize the game. Obviously, we're working really hard on that, and it will be available in DirectX 9 as well, of course. And as for the experience. A lot of the videos we posted on the web are actually DirectX 9, although people think it might be DirectX 10. For example, I'm not sure about this one, but I think the weapon trailer is actually captured in DirectX 9. So that's the kind of experience you will get on a DirectX 9 machine. On DirectX 10, we have that on the show floor. So I'm sure you'll take a look at it later, and that's something else completely. That's a whole, magnitude.
Completely different forward. Yeah.
But we're making sure that we, get the maximum out of any DirectX version available on the planet.
That explains that first question. People wanted to see
if
it come to consoles. Nice and stable. Any more questions?
People are wondering about kind of release dates, when they're actually going to get their hands on this thing.
Yeah, we've been hearing a lot about this game for a long time. I think people are ready to grab it now.
Believe me, we want it to be out as well. We're shooting for this year, but we have no set date yet. The thing is that we have set ourselves, and EA as well, we have set ourselves a quality bar of the things we want to do, and we want this game to be, really the best game the whole team has worked on. And everybody across all disciplines, they put so much effort into that. So we want to make sure that it's really worth it. So we don't have a set date yet, but we're shooting for this year.
It's the good old, it'll be released when it's done.
When it's done.
How close to done is it now?
What we brought to E3 is pretty close to how we want most things to be. There's a couple of glitches in the version we brought. Stuff we want to do better, stuff we want to improve, and stuff we know we need to tweak, like some of the weapon balances are off. Mm-hmm. And as you know, in multiplayer, basically that never stops. You balance the hell out of it every day. Like you change this up, this value down, and then you play the whole game. And basically that's what I do when I'm not here. I do most of the day is play the game and focus on certain things like the weapons, for example. Use all the weapons against all the enemies and see what we can do to make it even better, to deliver a really good, through the gun experience. That any weapon feels rewarding because it's a shooter, and that's one of our focus areas.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know that if your boss is watching, you basically just told everybody that you sit around playing games all day.
So I have the best job in the world, basically.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Lots of competition for that. The one level you brought, how do you decide which level to bring to a situation like this? I mean, is it something from the beginning, something that shows off X, Y, Z? Is it something from how do you choose what you bring? And then, like you said, you chopped off the beginning and the end to save the story. I would imagine. How do you determine what level to bring to something like E3?
That was pretty easy because if you put new people in front of a new game, it has to be pretty forgiving. It has to take you into the action in just the right way. So what we brought is a part of actually the first level of the game.
Okay, so it's the very beginning.
Yes, and it starts off with a great, we see that over there, with a great vista of the part of the island where you just landed. Mm-hmm. And from there on, it's pretty much, the open-ended sandbox gameplay. So your objective is to get across the bay to take out a radar station. But how you do it is completely up to you. You can take a boat, you can walk, you can steal a car, you can swim across the bay if you want to. It takes a while, but you can do it.
Right.
And this is the thing we want to offer players. That in the first level you get a lot of amazing tools, like the nanosuit, and you just play around and you get to experience how to use cloak, how to use strength, how to jump on top of a building, what you can do with the different functions of the suit, so that in the second or third level you're an expert and you can do the more advanced stuff.
So it's like not a tutorial, but you are learning the ins and outs of the games, but it's still fun.
It's sort of like with a built-in tutorial. So some of the situations we set up, to make sure that players are prompted to do certain things. You don't have to do them, but you get prompts on the screen explaining how the menu works, how the weapon works, different fire modes and stuff like that. Gotcha. And so we present you with all these options and let the player decide what to do.
One of the first images I have from this game is the big spider battle coming up on the thing. Like that explosion, all that. Where would you say that falls in the timeline of the game?
That's roughly between the second and the third part of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it gets bigger and better after that.
It gets bigger and better.
That spider's nothing.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
We got lots more.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Actually, I
one of
think
the smallest
if we want to wrap with this, because I know
That's
we have our next guest kind of queuing up out in the lobby, but people are definitely wondering about kind of the length of the single-player campaign and how much gameplay they're going to get out of just the single-player mode. How many hours?
Well, our projected average playtime is 10 to 12 hours, and the level we brought, just as an example, the level we brought, it's missing, I would say, 25% of the gameplay you would have in the final game, because some stuff is missing at the beginning and some of the story scenes at the end are missing for the demo. But when we let people actually play it, the average playtime for the first level is between 1 hour and 1 hour and a half. So I would say it depends on your playstyle. If you take the most direct route, you go straight to the objective, you take out everything, you don't get lost and amble off and look at all the animals and the crabs, which I'm very proud of.
Little plankton, yeah.
Yeah, and then you would get like between 10 and 12 hours. But you can literally play this level for 2 hours and you haven't seen anything, everything which is in the level.
All right, that's impressive. Should we wrap it up then?
We should wrap it up.
Right. Tell people one thing you want everyone to know about Crysis.
Well,
we have out here.
One thing I want people to know about Crysis is, well, we put a lot of effort into that, and I really hope that we are able to, deliver one of the best shooters of all time. And that's it from me.
All right then. Be sure to pay attention to the plankton when the game comes out, because he's very proud of those. Bert, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, there'll be more Livewire coming up in just a few minutes.